Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and I have in front of me the Not Too Shabby Shop subscription box of the month. And I do want to say that lately the boxes have been selling out like super fast. Some boxes have sold out within hours of being announced. So you may want to, if you're remotely at all interested and love coffee and flowers, this might be the box for you. You can save a little bit if you actually sign up for the monthly subscription, but you can always just buy them individually as well. So, definitely keep in mind that if you are interested, you might want to sort of make that decision earlier rather than later, because as I've mentioned, they have been selling out fast, and that's even last month when Jamie did increase the order on some of these and actually stocked more. So without further ado, here's what comes in this kit. So we get a this is exclusively created by this calls for confetti for the Not Too Shabby Shop. So it's a specific sort of confetti mix that's been designed, and you can already see the paper pads sort of set the color trend, and it's a beautiful mix that really coordinates well. And keep in mind, with any kind of shaker mix, you can always use it as shaker fill, but a lot of times what I do is I pick and choose individual elements and I use them almost as if kind of like a replacement for Nouveau drops or pearls or gems when I'm trying to keep a card nice and flat. So it's just a nice alternative to sequins because you get different shapes here. So you have circles of different sizes and colors. You even get like a little flower shape too. So I think it's kind of nice and a nice alternative to sequins, which is kind of the only other thing that I have that's flat besides, things like this, which I think nice to have the mix so that you have all of that variation and different options for how to use it. So as with all of our boxes, we do get two 6x6 paper pads, and these are really nice. They are a matte finish, and they are pretty thick. I mean, I would say maybe 80 pound. It doesn't say on here what it is, but it's a nice weight. It's not paper. I would say this is more like a lightweight cardstock. And these are the 6 unique double-sided sheets that you will get, and so for each of these designs that I'm about to show, you'll actually have 4 of them, which I think is really nice because not only are you getting some variety, because there's between both sides there's actually 12 unique patterns, but you're also getting quantity. So if you're working on a project that requires or you want to make something kind of en masse and you need a lot of sheets of the same pattern, you have that option, because each of these sheets you'll have 4 of them, and so it is kind of nice. It's a nice balance between having variety but also having quantity. Okay, so the other thing that I really like about how these have been designed is that on the one side you'll have a more graphical pattern, something that's a little bit maybe a little bit busier, not in a bad sense, but just there's more colors, there's more pattern. And this is nice. I don't know if this is recent or new to this box, but it's kind of nice to get some cut aparts, which is kind of cool. And the other thing that I really love about this kit is that I've seen a lot of coffee done a lot of different ways, but I feel like this is relatively, I've never seen this before, so I think this is pretty unique in that there's sort of this mix of, I almost want to say it's sort of folk art, that sort of floral pattern. That's what it reminds me of. And so you can see some of that incorporated into all of these coffee images. So that's sort of, I guess, the A side. And if you're not, into coffee, or you need maybe a coordinating pattern or print that is a little bit less busy, then you can always flip to the other side. So that's why I feel like this paper pad has been so well designed, because you do get the option of which side you prefer to use. So if one side seems like it might be a little bit harder to incorporate into your projects, and then the opposite side might provide a nice alternative. A lot of times these are simpler patterns, not as many colors, or smaller kind of repeating patterns. So they kind of lend themselves to being kind of more easily incorporated into your project. And for patterns like these two, there's kind of so much solid color, you can almost, especially the polka dot one, you can almost treat this as a solid color cardstock to coordinate with any of the other papers, because of course, as always, great attention has been paid to actually making sure that all of the colors coordinate with each other. And then with the summer coffee paper pad, we do get a coordinating ephemera pack. So I love how the ephemera is designed, because you get a lot of the same imagery that you find, in the pattern papers. And so you'll see a lot of the exact same sort of coffee images. And it's cool that they often do this. I don't know if that's the case here too. So I really love in particular that we get the same images, but at different scales, because I think everybody has a different preference for, what card size they like to create, or what scale project they like to work with, whether, it's a 5x7 card or larger. Some people make up to like an 8x8 card as well. And, but, if you're like me and you like to make USA 2 size cards that are smaller, sometimes, the scale of the object works better for some projects versus others. And it's the same for scrapbooking, because you can use all of these supplies in your scrapbooking as well. I actually just made a mini scrapbook that's based on a 6x6 paper as opposed to a 12x12 scrapbook page. And so for me, working on that smaller scale for scrapping is kind of nice. Oh, so this is cool. So I think these are the same cut aparts as what we had here. Let's see. Yeah, so that's that one. That one's there. This one is included there, and so you don't get all of them, but you get all of the ones I think with sentiments are on here, which is really cool, because when I saw this page, I thought, oh, cool, cut aparts with sentiments. That's awesome. But then when I flipped it over, I was like, oh, coffee beans. I want to use that side too. So it is really nice to get a set of ephemera that has the sentiments. So that's awesome. Now I can use the ephemera and not have to cut apart the coffee bean paper. Although you do get plenty, like I said, you're gonna have 4 sheets of each. So there's lots, and some of them you'll get 1 each. Some you'll get 2. Some you might get 3. So you never know. It's a nice assortment, whatever you get. And I do love the that we do get the different scale objects, because the other thing with the nice thing about having differently scaled objects is that it helps with collaging too, which I don't see in this mix. In the past, there's often die cut ephemera pieces that are already collaged together to give you kind of an idea of how to combine the individual elements. With this one, it feels like we're getting a lot of just the individual elements. But what's nice about having the different scale and different size objects is that you can really kind of mix and match between them to make your own collages. So that gives you ultimate kind of flexibility for how you want to work with them. Okay, so then the next paper pad is 6x6 paper pad is make it iced, please. So that's pretty cool. And again, we get 6 different unique designs, and I think I'm missing one. There we go. And it's similarly designed in the sense that one side is going to be much more graphical, have much more, a lot more sort of colors and patterns. And this one has a really cool vibe to it. It's got some really fun sort of typography included, some really graphical elements included, and so I think it's pretty fun and unique in that way. And so I'll go ahead and flip through each of them. These first few are very similar but different. So here we have collaging of some latte art, lots of different coffees with some phrases and sentiments. This has a lot of that same imagery, but combined with this very kind of graphical, different images of these different ladies. And then this one is a little bit stepped down, it feels. So lots of coffee imagery, some words, but they're not quite as bold as on here. So, there's different variations, similar but different. And this one has a lot of different women on them, which I love. And I love the representation of different, cultures, different skin color. So that's really awesome. I like that they're not, kind of stick figure skinny too. It would be nice if there was, slightly more differentiation in body shape, but I think overall it's nicely representative. And then this is a nice small repeating pattern of coffee, and then this is another nice very, again, kind of graffiti-like almost, I think, kind of in the boldness of the colors and the sort of sketchiness of the lines. But again, I'm showing this side first, being the more busy side, and if you need something to kind of tone that down a little, or if you're not super big fan of coffee, there's still something here for you, because if you flip to the back side, here are lots of florals, lots of more subtle prints. And this almost has a very cherry blossom feel to it, just in the coloring. But lots of bright colors, but more just patterns as opposed to the coffee imagery. So I think these papers are really, really well thought out, so that you can mix and match A side, B side, but also, if you're, not a super fan of coffee, there's other elements in here that are fantastic for you as well. And then, of course, this one also has coordinating ephemera. So we've got some latte art. This looks photorealistic, actually. That doesn't look like a drawing to me. Love this. And so we do have, I love when they include these ladies. So I got 3 there. Oh, these are cool. Oh, I love that we're getting that. These also as ephemera. And some sentiment pieces as well. these are just so cool. I think they have a fun kind of attitude and vibe to them. So it's different for me for sure. Like I don't have a lot of that feel of supplies, stamps, or papers. So that's why I was like, oh, this is going to be really fun to work with because it's so different to anything else that I have, and I'm loving it because it's very energetic. I think is how I feel about it, and so I just think it has a really fun energy and vibe, and so I definitely know a lot of people who would love cards made in this style. So very cool. So again, I'm seeing a lot of individual elements, and I think it's great. I do always appreciate when there are some ephemera pieces that are collaged, so that I can kind of get a sense for how to combine some of these elements. And for sure, by not having those elements, we're getting more individual pieces, so you have more freedom and versatility. But I just always appreciated having a couple of collage elements just to kickstart my brain a little bit. But on the flip side, I can also appreciate that having more individual elements means you have greater freedom. Okay, so that's our embellishments and our paper pads and ephemera. Then we also got 2 4x6 stamp sets, and these are amazing. I love them. So again, I just love how well thought out Jamie and Teresa are when they put together, the paper pads and ephemera, and when they design the stamp sets, because there's something for everybody, and something for different different occasions, different kind of feels, different aesthetics. And so what I love about these 2 stamp sets is, yes, they are both coffee themed, but this one has a lot of what the imagery that we saw in the papers. A lot of that is, I'm not sure, which way these are mimicked, whether which one's leading and which one's kind of following the design path, but I love that they echo each other. And so we have a lot of the kind of the folk art floral design and feel incorporated into coffee. And this, I feel like, is really, it's a very unique take on coffee that personally I haven't seen. So this is very, very new, very different to me in my craft room, and I do have a lot of coffee themed items because I'm a big fan. And so I love that this is something just a little bit different when you're looking to make something different. But if you're looking to make something that's a little bit more I guess traditional in a sense, then you've got this one as well. So this set has much more in the vein of what you would I guess more typically see as realistic to life. And so you have your iced coffee drinks. They aren't stylized, in the way that this set is. And so if that's what you're looking for, then you can pull out this set. I also love that this one has they mix and match so well, because I feel like this set has large graphics and small sentiments. So here we have Rise and Shine, it's coffee time, and then coffee question mark. There should be, of course. But this is sort of almost the reverse of that, but having the 2, you can certainly mix and match, right? So here the focal image is the larger scale, and the sentiment is the smaller scale. On this one, the sentiment is large, and so if you're looking for the sentiment to really like kind of pack a punch, you've got that here. And the sentiments do incorporate, some of them anyways, some imagery, coffee imagery, and then your graphics are a little bit smaller. So I think that's a really nice kind of mix, because because it has you covered for whatever your needs are. So this one says, I don't rise and shine. I caffeinate and hope for the best. Oh, I love this. No talkie before coffee. Iced coffee obsessed, because all of the coffee drinks are iced. Java nice day. Rise and grind. Which perfectly describes how I start my morning. I wake up, I freshen up, and then the first thing I do when I come downstairs is make my coffee. So, and my husband likes to make stovetop espresso with this. I make a latte, but love everything. So again, kudos to Jamie and Teresa. They've really thought things through very well and given us a lot of things that are unique, but also things that are much more kind of everyday and kind of almost realistic. So love that. Then this is something very cool and new. So this is designed by another fellow design team member, Call Me Crafty Owl, or Alicia, and she did release, I think, a set of stencils a couple months ago, and so it's and I don't think this is the first time we've seen stencils from her included in the monthly craft kits either. So that's really, it's cool. It's a nice little bonus to get this. And what's cool about this, if I can find something to show this on, but it's actually got two sort of sunburst designs in different patterns. So hopefully that really doesn't help that much. I don't have... Oh, here we go. This is like quick as... There we go. Hopefully that helps. So we have sort of that sunburst waves. This one is more wavy, and then this one is more straight and linear. So you get kind of two different options for how you want to use this. And of course, if you wanted a full circle, you could always stencil this first and then turn it around and stencil, the bottom half both ways if you wanted like a full circle. So so I think that's cool. And if I don't know if these would necessarily overlap exactly, but if you wanted a perfect continuation, you might be able to see if these patterns, these kind of sun rays perfectly overlap, so that you can overlap your stencil and then get that perfect spacing and continuation around the full circle. So I think that's really cool, something special. So we're getting that instead of, I think normally there would be like a third smaller stamp set. But it's nice to kind of get different stash builders in these kits, because these are the items that are gonna last well after you're done using up all the papers and ephemera and embellishments. So amazing kit, super excited to craft with this kit. So when I do, I will be sure to link to it in the description box below. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.